Hey everyone, welcome back to the O-Cheap channel, the channel dedicated to all things cheap in the world of fragrances. And today's video is going to be very different from anything I've done so far. In this video, I am just going to be focusing on inexpensive women's fragrances. That's right, nothing with the men, nothing with the guys. I am just focusing on you gals out there, those of you who are probably less 1% of the demographic that watch my channel. I want to give you something for you to look for, or maybe you guys out there want to get your girlfriend or your wife or significant other or someone special a gift for either birthday, Valentine's, or Christmas, something for you to give to them. This will hopefully give you some ideas of things to look for. And all of these are ones that my wife personally wears and really likes, and I really like how they smell on her. And even though they are inexpensive, they definitely smell way higher quality than what they are. And most of them are readily available wherever you go, aside from one. So I'm gonna start off with an honorable mention. Of course, you know I've gotta have an honorable mention in the video. I have it in the last one, but I want to in this one. It's because of what this fragrance is and who it's by. And that fragrance is this one right here. It is SJP, or Sarah Jessica Parker Stash Privé. So as you can see, it is a very simple bottle with a pink top and a silver wrap that says Stash Privé and a slightly colored pink juice on the inside. You know that the original Stash, which I've covered in a short before, is a amber color bottle, slightly clear, but with a more black wrap on. It's a darker kind of look, and that the original Stash scent profile is something that's more unisex, and it is a very woody, slightly boozy, very intense fragrance. So you'd think that the flanker, especially something called Stash Privé, it would make the original scent profile but just deeper and richer and more intense, but actually it is the complete opposite. So how the other one was a unisex, this is actually way more feminine leaning, and how the other one was a deep, dark, woody scent, this is actually a very light, bright, airy, fresh scent. And let's go ahead and get through that note breakdown just real quick. On this fragrance, you have the top notes are quince, grapefruit, and pink pepper. Those bottom notes are sage and Tunisian orange blossom. And the base notes are birch, musk, and Haitian vetiver. So to me, how this fragrance comes across is very ozonic. It's a very light brightness. You do get that grapefruit, and it's very juicy. To me, it almost has like a peach kind of nuance to it, along with that orange blossom and grape mixture. Probably that quince has a lot to do with it. It is very sweet as well. You get a little bit of herbaceousness in it and a little bit of a light woodiness, but the vetiver just adds a good cleanness. I think the price that I picked this up for at TJ Maxx was around $19.99, which that is for a 30 ml size bottle, which is the largest I've been able to find at that rack store. Still, the quality that you get out of this is very unexpected, especially for an SJP fragrance, which leads me to think that SJP actually has a lot of good hidden gems. If you find them, I recommend going to pick them up, because more than likely they're going to be really good, especially this one. I think performance on this is a very loud performer, especially for that first hour, hour and a half, and longevity is around 5 to 6 hours, so a little average, a little below, but it is a fresh fragrance, so of course you're not going to expect it to last as long, but it's very clean and very welcoming, very easy to wear. And I actually think that this could be pulled off by either young or middle age or older. It's just a good overall around, very versatile fragrance, perfect for the spring and the summertime. I wouldn't try it in the colder months because it's gonna get choked out in that cold, thick air, but this is great for going out and for a casual fragrance during the hot, warmer months. The only thing is with this, the reason I call this as an honorable mention is because this is very hard to find at rack stores. I don't think I'm able to find this on discounts online just yet, like Fragrance Buy or Fragrance Net. I've only been able to see this at rack stores, and it hasn't been that often. I did happen to find another bottle of this recently at TJ Maxx, so I scooped it up immediately to keep as a backup, because my wife goes through this pretty quick, and it is just a 30 ml, so it goes through very fast. I really don't detect any florals in this, so if you don't like floral heavy scents, I highly recommend getting this one. It's more of a white musk, clean, fruity, sweet fragrance. It is an absolute deal and a hidden gem, especially in the SJP line of fragrances. So pick this up if you can. Again, SJP Stash Privé. So now we're on to the official list of 5 that I want to show you. Starting off, we're going to go fresh, to darker fragrances, and we're gonna end with a very, very versatile one that you can go almost all year round, any occasion. So the first one we're gonna start off with is this one, Cool Water for Women. So I can already hear what you're saying. Why cool water? Are you really gonna recommend a retro fragrance? I'm gonna smell like my mom or my grandma, or I'm gonna smell outdated, or I'm gonna smell old school. But let me tell you, this is actually a very, very nice scent. I really do think it works today. I had no clue what it would smell like as a woman's fragrance because I've smelled the original men's. It's a very green, herbaceous, aquatic fragrance. It definitely has that green tinge that's an 80s staple. This does not at all smell like a reflection of the men's version. This is a very aquatic, still, fresh, still fragrance, but it's floral and it is fruity and it is sweet. I think this still can be pulled off today. Absolutely. I think this kind of style is versatile and timeless, and it can go on for even years to come. I really, really do like this, and it surprised me with even how slightly modern it still smelled now. I don't think at all this is outdated. Then again, that may just be my old soul talking because I do love this kind of style. To some people, it may have that 90s tinge, but I think it's still very well appealing and still able to be pulled off now. I'm gonna go ahead and go through those notes with you right now. And of course, as a 90s fragrance, they're gonna throw in everything, including the kitchen sink. So let's go ahead and get through. On the top notes, you have melon, lotus, lemon, pineapple, quince, there's that quince note again, cologne, which adds that aquatic nature to it, lily and black currant. Middle notes, you have lotus again, water lily, lily of the valley, jasmine, honey, hawthorn, and rose. And on those base notes, you have musk, vetiver, violet root, raspberry, blackberry, peach, sandalwood, and vanilla. So there you go. They just threw everything you could ever want into a fragrance. You're not gonna be able to smell probably even one of those notes in this, but they do all come together in a very nice, complex blend that it might be hard to pick out individual things, but you know all together, it just smells very, very pleasant. This is that out of the shower, fresh and clean style that you would want in the summer and the springtime. It's a very casual scent. I can definitely see people wearing this out, hanging out with friends or going down to the beach or having a good day by yourself, even around the house. It is just a nice, appealing scent. You of course get that aquatic nature and that light airiness and ozonic nature to it, but you do get that sweetness that comes along with it and that floral nature, which I think adds to that clean smell. And you do get a lot of musk because it is a freshie, it's supposed to smell fresh, and so it adds to that lift and it makes it a very well projecting fragrance. So performance on this as far as projection is really, really good, and actually longevity isn't too bad, especially for a freshie. I think about 5 to 6 hours, especially good for how cheap it is. So if you're someone who doesn't mind that retro 90s style, you will definitely love this. Or if you're someone who's a little hesitant about it, you've seen it around but you don't know what it's like, try it out in a store and see what you think about it, and then purchase it for a lot cheaper, because you can find this almost all year round at TJ Maxx and Ross and other kind of rack stores. I think it is a timeless scent, especially with that way it comes across. Everyone at all times is going on to smell fresh and clean, and this will definitely get you there. So again, Davidoff Cool Water for Women. Now on to the number 2 fragrance in this list, and it is one that I personally really, really like. It is my favorite as far as fresh summer fragrances in my wife's collection. It is one that you've no doubt seen everywhere at TJ Maxx and at Ross. This one here, Abercrombie and Fitch First Instinct Blue for Women. So here we have, again, a very simple bottle design that very much mimics the Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Blue line for men, except a way lighter color, a way lighter blue than the First Instinct Blue that men have. There's a darker blue. And as you can see, my wife has definitely used up a lot of this one. There's almost none left in it. I'm gonna have to buy a larger one. It was because of how good this is. So the First Instinct Blue for men is a very cardamom forward fragrance, very soft, powdery, spicy, and it is ozonic as well. And even though this one is a good complement to the men's one, I actually prefer this one a lot more because of how the style is. This is a very sweet, forward, oceanic, salty, ozonic, fruity style fragrance. It is a huge, huge compliment puller, very easy to wear and very mass appealing. Let's go ahead and get to that note breakdown real quick so I can get through it and show you what I mean. On those top notes, you have salt, ozonic notes, blackberry, and bergamot. On those middle notes, you have apricot, peony, and jasmine. And on those base notes, you have patchouli, vanilla, and sandalwood. So on that opening, to me what stands out is that blackberry. It's very sweet, juicy, and piercing. Then you have that vanilla from the base coming up, making it even sweeter. And you do definitely get those ozonic notes and a good bit of that salt. And of course, you have that florals in the middle that help to add that body to it and keep everything lifted up. And then you have that sandalwood, which adds that woodiness to the base as it dries down, making everything very wholesome and creamy in a way. This is just a super, super good scent profile. My wife has gotten so many compliments from other girls wanting to know what she was wearing because they really liked it and she'd show them. And it is perfect for the summertime and the springtime. And I think you even could pull it off a little bit in the fall. It is great because of that sweetness, which makes it very versatile and very easy appealing, but that airiness makes it where it's not too harsh and it's not too dense. It just is a good balance all the way through and a great blend with this one. The performance on this is actually very, very good. Projection is very loud for the first hour, hour and a half, and longevity is easily about 6 to 7 hours. It is just a overall amazing blue style fragrance for a woman. If you don't mind that sweetness, if you don't mind a good bit of vanilla and that fruitiness, you are going to love how this one is. Again, it has that ozonic nature. I just think that it's one where as soon as you smell it, you're gonna fall in love with it, no matter how cheap it is. And even you guys, I think you'll enjoy this as well. And is one that I highly, highly recommend that you try out. It is this one, Abercrombie & Fitch, First Instinct Blue. Now moving on to number 3 in this list, and it is one that when I show you, a lot of you might cringe or sigh at me showing, but just trust me, it is a really, really good find if you can get this. And it is this one here, Kim Kardashian Gold. So despite the name gold, there's not a lot of gold in this bottle. It is mostly all black, maybe depending on certain lights. If you view it through, it has a gold shimmer, when really the only thing gold on this is the lettering and the collar and atomizer. But I do think the name fits the style of fragrance that this is. When you spray this, you are going to get a very warm, sweet, ambery style fragrance, which fits with the name gold because gold is warm looking and it's shimmering. Even though it doesn't feel warm, it has a warm glow to it, just that glowing style, which is exactly the vibe that this gives off. I'm gonna go ahead and get to that note breakdown real quick so I can talk about it a little further. On those top notes, you have grapefruit, bergamot, and pink pepper. On those middle notes, you have jasmine, violet, and rose. And on those base notes, you have amber, benzoin, patchouli, musk, and sandalwood. So how this fragrance comes off to me when I first smell it is I do get that sweetness, fruitiness, and that spicy from that pink pepper coming off on the top. But as it goes through, I almost get a nuance of a booziness as it goes into the fragrance. You do get the woodiness that comes up through. And you do, of course, get that lingering sweetness from that benzoin, that vanilla kind of style as it keeps going through. You get a little bit of those florals with that rose and a little bit of a smokiness with that patchouli. It's actually just a very good overall cold wear fragrance. I think this could be perfect for date nights or formal situations. It's definitely more of a nighttime style fragrance than more of a daytime, but I think it's a very, very good cheapie. And I actually picked this up for, I think is around $16.99, which is a steal for a celebrity style fragrance in this good of quality. It is definitely one that I recommend to everybody. If you find this, definitely pick it up, especially if you need something as a sweet, woody fragrance as it goes into the colder weather. And the performance on this is not too great. You do get a good bit of projection for the first 30 to 45 minutes, and the longevity is about 5 hours, I would say. But still, because of how inexpensive it is, you can always take it with you and reapply whenever you need it. But overall, this is a great scent profile and I highly recommend it as a cheapie. It is Kim Kardashian Gold. Now on to the fourth one in this list, and it is actually one that I alluded to in my fall cheapies video, and I kind of discussed how it smelled, but I really want to show it in this video because it's one that I highly highly recommend as a cheapie for women, and is a perfect if you get the guys version of this because it complements well with each other. And you might already know what I'm talking about, but it is this one here. It is CK1 Shock for her. So as you can see from the bottle, it is very similar to CK Shock 1 for a guy, but instead of a black bottle, you have a white one, and instead of green graffiti, you have a pink graffiti. So everything contrasts and flips very nicely. It's a good complement to the other design. And as you can see, it is a screw-in atomizer, just like all the other CK1 fragrances. So CK1 Shock for him is a great introductory fragrance to tobacco. It's a very earthy, smoky, spicy, and sweet fragrance. It is a very high quality cheapie. I think it deserves a lot more hype than what people give it usually. I think it's a wonderful release and totally different from anything that CK has done before. Way years later, this one came out, and I think it's a great compliment to the For Him version. Let's go ahead and get through that note breakdown. So on the top notes, you have passion flower, red poppy, and peony. On those middle notes, you have Mexican chocolate, which is very different, blackberry, narcissus, and jasmine. And on those base notes, you have vanilla, musk, amber, and patchouli. So when you first spray this fragrance on, you get a good bit of freshness and lightness on the top with those florals, and also adds a good bit of sweetness through it. But immediately right after, you'll get a good bit of a powdery candy kind of nuance coming into it, and you do get that Mexican chocolate note coming right in. And it's not so much a sweet chocolatey as it is just a creamy, dusty kind of chocolate. And it's a wonderful, soft, powdery kind of style that comes all together. And it has a little bit of spiciness. You do get a little bit of that blackberry kind of fruitiness and tartness coming in underneath. And of course, on those base notes, you have the musk and those woods, which add a whole good bit of foundation to it and keep everything all together. But overall, how I would describe this is a powder candy sweetness along with a chocolate nuance. Those florals and everything do add that freshness, and you do get that vanilla sweetness and that musk adding a whole roundness and lightness to everything. But like I said before, this is just a perfect complement to the For Him version. It gets a lot of hate on Fragrantica, but I think it's a very well blended, very unique fragrance, especially regarding the CK1 and how they usually approach the women's style. This smells a lot more modern than the For Him version or anything else that CK does in their popular women's lines. This is a lot more unique, almost a niche kind of style, but it's still very well appealing. I think a lot of people will love how this smells. The only thing is, performance on this is not that great, just like the For Him version. I would say longevity is maybe about 4 or 5 hours, and projection is no more than maybe the loudest about an hour to 30 minutes or so. Still, it is so inexpensive that you can apply this whenever you want to, and you can get the huge 200 ml size version of this and just douse yourself in it whenever you feel the need arise. I think this is slept on, and I think it's been badmouthed way too much. I think it is an amazing quality cheapie, especially for the fall and winter months. You will love how this complements everything that encapsulates those seasons. But again, highly recommend that you seek this out and see what you think about it. It is CK1 Shock for her. So now we get to the fifth and last fragrance in this list, and it is one that is going to be the versatile scent. So it's going to be one that you can wear during the hot weather, during the cold weather, during daytime, nighttime, casual, formal, wherever you want to wear this at. It is super versatile, and the reasoning you'll see is because of the fragrance it is cloning. So yes, this is a clone fragrance, but I think it's an absolute amazing clone. This one right here, it is Haramain L'Aventure Femme. So if you know anything about clone fragrances, you'll know that the guy version of this, the original L'Aventure, it is a Creed Aventus clone, and I actually think it's really good at what it does. A lot of people praise it as being the most accurate, and I do think that it is really good, but a lot of people don't know that there is a female version of that clone, which is this one here. So the original, which is cloning Creed Aventus, is the guy version. Then what do you think that the female version is cloning? You're right, it is cloning Creed Aventus for her. And I gotta tell you, I've smelled Creed Aventus for her, and this is absolutely dead on. I say about 90 to 95%. But actually, I much prefer how this one smells than the original. This is a very fruity, woody, powdery, floral, and musky forward fragrance. It is very luxurious smelling. It smells way higher than the price tag that I picked this up at, which was well under $30 on Fragrance Buy. It is just a dead ringer for the original, but way, way, way better in every way. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the note breakdown and then get into why I prefer this much more than the original. So on those top notes, you have pineapple, blackcurrant, bergamot, and wild berries, a very similar top note opening to Creed Aventus for him. Middle notes are cedar, freesia, and rose. And those base notes, you have musk, sandalwood, amber, and vanilla. So why do I like this one more than the original? Because this smells exactly like Creed Aventus for her, but sweeter, which to me makes it a lot more geared toward a younger demographic that can wear this much more easily. And it also makes it a much more appealing and really a more rounded, easier to wear fragrance. It is just so, so good. I cannot rave about this enough. It still has a lot of the characteristics from the original, like the deep florals and the woodiness in this, and a lot of that muskiness. So a lot of people might still say that this smells like an older demographic could wear this more, but I do think that sweetness helps it to lend more to a younger demographic, and I think that any age in between can wear this very, very easily, especially if you're able to pull it off in the right situations, in the right outfit, and the right attitude. I just think this is such a huge bang for buck and a huge improvement over the original Creed Aventus Her. You can wear this easily in the spring and the summertime, which a lot of people might say is more appropriate for this, but I think you can wear this easily in the fall and the winter as well. That woodiness in here definitely lends to being able to wear it in those colder seasons. And I think it's a great formal outfit, outside, inside. Maybe a little lighter on the sprays if you're gonna wear this casually around friends, but I think this is such a wonderful, luxurious, just prized smell that it's hard to hate this and not notice how well the blend is in this. As far as performance, this is way better than any of the cheapies that I had in this list. This is a easily 2-hour projector performer, and longevity, it could go on from 8 to 9 hours. It is just a super long lasting, really clings to you, but really rains out and pierces through the air. It has amazing sillage wherever you walk. Everyone behind you will be able to smell it. I got this after I got the original L'Aventure for men, and I smelled Creed Aventus for her in a sample and was like, well, I wonder, you know, if it's any good, because I did like how Creed Aventus Her smelled. But when I got this, I immediately just put the sample away and stuck with this one. And my wife loves it. She loves to wear this, and she agrees that it smells the same and way better than the original. I just think if you like Creed Aventus for him, that you should try this out as the female alternative and see what you think about it. But again, highly, highly recommend this one, Haramain's L'Aventure Femme. But again, here they are, my recommendations as of now for cheapies I think women would enjoy. And if you're either buying for yourself or buying for a gift for somebody, I think any of these would make a wonderful gift. And these are all way higher quality than the price, but you can pick them up for very inexpensive. And I think that anyone would enjoy these. You cover everything from the warmer side of the year to the cooler side of the year, and even something that's very versatile for almost all year round, and that smells way higher quality than the price that it's at. And I hope that you enjoy this video. It's definitely a break away from what I usually do, and if you did like it, please consider giving me a thumbs up and comment down below. Let me know if you have or tried any of these out, and if you like them, or if you don't like them, or if you have anything else that you'd recommend instead. And if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and following, because there's a lot of things that I want to show in the future and a lot of things that I have planned, and I'd love for you to come along with me and maybe help you discover something new as well. And as usual guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope that you liked everything, and I will see you again in the next video. Be blessed.